Hello everyone, welcome you all. Let's start our discussion and solve question paper of CUCET 2021. Question number 1. 2's complement of the binary number is. So we have to find the decimal equivalent of 2's complement of this given binary number. So let us see how to find first the 2's complement of this given binary number. To calculate 2's complement, first we have to find 1's complement of that given binary number. To find 1's complement, we have to take complement of each bit of this given binary number. Then to find 2's complement, we have to add 1 to this 1's complement. So let us see how to find 2's complement. We are given with this binary number, so to find 1's complement we have to take complement of each binary digit. So complement of 1 is 0, complement of 0 is 1 1 1 1 1, and complement of 1 is 0. So this is the 1's complement of this given binary number. Now for 2's complement we have to add 1 to the LSB. LSB means a least significant bit. So 0 1 1 1 1 1 0 plus 1. Okay, now 0 plus 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 0. Now we have to find the decimal equivalent of this 2's complement. Okay, so 1 into 2 to the power 5 plus 1 into 2 to the power 4 plus 1 into 3 plus 1 into 2 plus 1 into 1 plus 1 into 2 to the power 0. So 32 plus 16 equals to 63. Now if you see the option, there is plus 63 and minus 63. So we have to find the sign of this number. To find sign you have to check the MSB. This is MSB, most significant bit, and this is LSB of a binary number. So MSB will give you the sign. Remember, if 0 in the MSB, then it is positive sign, and if it is 1 in the MSB, then it is negative. Okay, so here it is 0 in the MSB, so the answer will be plus 63. So correct option is option 1. Question number 2. The thickness of the soft film refractive index 1.463 that will result in constructive interference in the reflected light with the film is illuminated normally with a light of free space wavelength 600 nanometer. Here we have to find the thickness of this soft film which results in the constructive interference. So starting with the condition of constructive interference, that is 2 mu t plus lambda by 2 equals to n lambda. So from here 2 mu t equals to n minus half lambda, where n equals to 1 2 3. For n equal to 1, 2 mu t will be lambda by 2. So from here thickness t equals to lambda by 4 mu. So we are given with lambda and mu, so using the values, that is 600 nanometer by 4 into 1.463, which will be equal to 0.1025 micrometer. So your correct option is option 1. Question number 3. An oil bath kept at 27 degrees Celsius is being supplied heat at the rate of 100 joule per second. Assuming the process to be quasi-static, the rate of increase of entropy of the system is approximately. So the heat bath is at temperature T, that is 300 Kelvin, and heat is being supplied at the rate 100 joule per second. From second law of thermodynamics, we have ds equal to dq by t. So from there we can find rate at which entropy increases will be equal to del q by del t by t, that is equal to 100 joule by second by 300 Kelvin. So it is 1 by 3 joule second inverse Kelvin inverse, that is 0.33 joule second inverse Kelvin inverse. So your correct option is option 3. Question number 4. When two mutually perpendicular simple harmonic motions of same frequency, amplitude and phase are superimposed, the resulting motion is a linear SHM along a straight line inclined equally to the straight lines of the motion of the components ones. So your correct option is option 2. You can find the derivation of this concept in any optics standard book, so I am not deriving here. Okay, so you can see the derivation here. Question number 5. In a cyclic process, we know in a cyclic process change in internal energy is 0, that is du equals to 0. And from first law of thermodynamics we have dq, that is heat given to a system, is equals to change in internal energy of the system du plus dw, work done by the system. So for a cyclic process dq equals to dw, that is heat given to a system is equals to the work done by the system. So your correct option is option 2. Question number 6. In an electromagnetic wave, the electric field of amplitude 6.2 volt per meter oscillates with a frequency of 2.4 into 10 to the power 10 Hz. The energy density of the wave is. Amplitude of electric field is given. We have to find the energy density of electromagnetic wave. We know energy density U equals to energy density of electric field plus energy density of magnetic field. We have U E equals to half epsilon naught E naught square, amplitude of electric field. Energy density of magnetic field is B naught square by 2 mu naught, and we know U E equals to U B. Energy density of electric field and magnetic field are same. So energy density of electromagnetic wave will be 2 U E, or U equals to epsilon naught E naught square. So now we can put the value of epsilon naught and amplitude of electric field, that is 8.854 into 10 to the power minus 12 into 6.2 whole square, which is equals to 3.4 into 10 to the power minus 10 joule by meter cube. So your correct option is option 3. Question number 7. For a given dielectric, the electronic polarizability. We know electronic polarizability depends on radius of the atoms and it is independent of the temperature. Independent of temperature. So electronic polarizability is not affected by the temperature change. So your correct option is option 3. Question number 8. The purpose of capacitors in a transistor amplifier is to. We know coupling capacitors are essential components in amplifier circuit. So the purpose of capacitor in transistor amplifier is to couple or bypass AC component. So your correct option is option 4. Question number 9. The state of polarization of the electromagnetic wave with field components. So we have to find the state of polarization of the wave. The two components of the electromagnetic wave are given. We know by checking the phase difference between Ex and Ey, we can state the polarization state of the electromagnetic wave. We know if the phase difference between Ex and Ey is an even multiple of 5 by 2, then the wave is linearly polarized wave. And if the phase difference between Ex and Ey is an odd multiple of pi by 2, and also the amplitude are equal, then the wave will be circularly polarized. Okay, if the phase difference is not above case, not even multiple of pi by 2 and not odd multiple of pi by 2, not above defined case, and amplitude are also different, then the wave will be elliptically polarized. So we can see here the amplitude are different, and the phase difference is 90 plus pi by 4. This electromagnetic wave will be elliptically polarized light. So your correct option is option 4. देखो ऑप्शन में सिर्फ लेफ्ट एलिप्टिकली पोलराइज्ड गिवन है, अगर राइट एलिप्टिकली पोलराइज्ड होता तो हमें कैलकुलेट करना पड़ता है यहाँ से। तो जैसे कि सिर्फ एलिप्टिकली पोलराइज्ड है, एक ही ऑप्शन है, सो दैट विल बी द आंसर। क्वेश्चन नंबर 10, if the momentum of an electron moving with a velocity 0.9 c is increased by 1%, then the increase in its energy is. Velocity of the moving electron is 0.9 c. So here we have to solve this problem with relativistic effect. Change in momentum is given, that is 1%. So we have to find the change in the energy of that electron. So total energy of that electron is E square equals to P square C square plus m naught square C to the power 4. So from here 2E del E equals to 2P C square del P. Now del E equals to P by E C square del P. So we have to find change in percentage of change in energy. So del E by E is equals to P by E square C square del P. So to again use this value del P by P, we have to express as del P by P. So this is P square C square by E square del P by P. Momentum of this electron will be given by P m naught V by square root under 1 minus V square by C square, or P square C square can be written as m naught square V square C square by 1 minus V square by C square. Now using this relation of E square here, we will find that del E by E equals to 1 by 1 plus m naught square C4 by P square C square del P by P. Now using the value of P square C square here, 1 by 1 plus 1 minus V square by C square by V square and del P by P. So from here it is 1 by 1 plus C square by V square minus 1, or this is equals to V square by C square del P by P, or 0.9 whole square del P by P, or 0.81%. So your correct option is option 3. Question number 11. This variation of electric field with distance is observed in which of the following objects? To solve this question, you should know the variation of electric field for the charge distribution in this type of objects. For a line of charge having linear charge density lambda, we know electric field is given by 2k lambda by r. For sheet of charge having charge density sigma, electric field inside is given by rho x by epsilon naught, and electric field outside is given by sigma d by epsilon naught. D is the thickness of the charge sheet. Now for solid sphere, assuming sigma to be uniform, electric field inside of the sphere is given by rho r by 3 epsilon naught, and electric field outside of the sphere is given by rho rq by 3 epsilon naught r square. Now for spherical cell, we know electric field inside the cell is 0 and electric field outside the cell is q by r square. Now if we draw the variation of this electric field with distance for solid sphere, it will be like this. Electric field distance inside directly proportional to r, that is r up to the surface, then outside the sphere it is 1 by r square, so it will decrease like this. Now for spherical cell, electric field distance inside the cell it is 0, so up to radius r it is 0. Now for electric field outside the cell it is very like 1 by r square. So the given variation of electric field is for spherical cell. So your correct option is option 4. Question number 12. The Fourier series of an odd periodic function will consist of. We know Fourier series of a periodic function is given by this, where a naught n a bn are calculated using this relation. Here we have a odd periodic function, fx is odd, and we know for odd periodic function the integral is 0 from minus pi to pi, and for a even function it is 2 times 0 to pi even function. So as we are given with a odd function, when calculating a naught, it will be integral of minus pi to pi odd function, so it will be 0. Similarly here fx is odd, cos function is even into odd, that will result in a odd function, so odd function integral from minus pi to pi will give us 0. Now when calculating bn, this is odd, sin nx is odd into odd is results in even function, and the integral of that even function from minus pi to pi will be non-zero, so it is non-zero. So when writing the Fourier series of that odd periodic function, only this sine term will exist. So the Fourier series of an odd periodic function will consist of sine terms only. So your correct option is option 1. Question number 13. The area of Carnot cycle on TS diagram represents. We know in a TS diagram, this area represents Q1, that is heat absorbed by the source, and this area represents Q2, that is heat rejected to the sink. Now in question we have to say about this area of this TS diagram. So this area will represent Q1 minus Q2, and we know in Carnot cycle Q1 minus Q2 is W, that is work done in the cycle. So the area of Carnot cycle in TS diagram represents work done in a cycle. So your correct option is option 2. Question number 14. Significant diffraction of X-rays can be obtained. See, we know the diffraction condition for diffraction is that diffraction can take place only when width of slit is comparable to the wavelength of incident light. Here, incident light is X-ray beam. So we know wavelength of X-ray beam is of the order of Armstrong, and we know the interplanar spacing h width of Armstrong in atomic crystal. So this significant diffraction of X-rays can be obtained by atomic crystal. So your correct option is option 3. Question number 15. Curie temperature is the temperature above which we know Curie temperature is the temperature above which a ferromagnetic material becomes paramagnetic. So your correct option is option 1. You should remember the variation of susceptibility with temperature. That will help you to find out this answer. We know for a paramagnetic material, susceptibility variation with temperature is given by this graph. This is for paramagnetic material. For a ferromagnetic material, susceptibility temperature. Now let this is the Curie temperature. This represents this variation of susceptibility with temperature for a ferromagnetic material. This is a ferrostate, this is paramagnetic state. After Curie temperature, the ferromagnetic becomes paramagnetic. Similarly, you should remember the susceptibility variation graph for antiferromagnetic and diamagnetic. So in this video we have solved 15 questions. We will continue in the next video. Thanks for watching and all the best for your exam. See you in the next one. Thank you.